So this is about Saturn retrograde. On February the 28th, Mercury stops going retrograde. On March the 1st, Mars starts going retrograde. On March the 2nd, Saturn starts going retrograde. I was born with Saturn retrograde in Scorpio, some 2 Saturn returns ago. So I'm quite familiar with Saturn retrograde in Scorpio. But on a transitory level for the planet, it's a bit different than if it's in a natal chart. Certain things, however, will be the same. And that is that in those people, or for example, nation states or environments that are young, and by young I mean under 40, excuse any unintended patronisation, then the retrograde Saturn return is going to be sort of fearful to an extent. The retrograde Saturn in Scorpio, I meant to say, it's going to be fearful. There'll be a degree of intensity and at least caution, and at worst fear or even phobia. The difference being that when you are scared of something, when you have fear, you normally know what it is that you are scared of. When it is phobia, it is fear of the unknown or the unknowable, the irrational. With Saturn retrograde in Scorpio, in many ways, there's going to be this collective impulse to sort of step back, to step down into the collective underworld, to go back into those Hadean depths of Scorpio and to rake over all the deep, horrible, nasty stuff and pull out yet more crap. But you know, when this is over, when Saturn stops going retrograde around June, July and moves forward again, it's going to leave Scorpio by the end of the year. It will step back next year for a few months, but briefly. Saturn's currently 60% of the way through Scorpio, and it's heading into its second retrograde period. Whereas the first retrograde period brought up a lot of stuff around individuals in positions of notoriety, particularly around sexual abuse, I think the second phase is going to be far more concerned with the restructuring of the global economy and the way we find value in other people's money. After all, Scorpio is the 8th house, the 8th sign, which relates to the 8th house, which once you get rid of the superficial glamour side of the 8th house, oh my God, it's the house of sex and death. Actually, it's more about self-empowerment and the way one deals with fear. And it has a lot to do with other people's values, particularly external resources. Often if I see someone with a strong 8th house, I'm digressing here, but hey, if I see someone with a strong 8th house, I'd talk about their ability to deal with loans, mortgages, inheritance, tax rebates, partners' money, joint resources, sponsorship, funding, investments of any type, external resources. And with Saturn retrograding in Scorpio, for the next 4.5 months, I think, we're going to find that a lot of people are going to sort of hopefully take responsibility for managing their resources and stop borrowing money, because credit never works. Not in the long run. It's a fallacy. Cash works. During Saturn's retrograde motion, it's not going to be making any aspects, not significantly, to the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Jupiter will trine it very nicely during April and May, and I do expect some type of financial surge globally coming at that time. But it is less to do with the global picture at the moment. A year from now, when Saturn moves into Sagittarius and begins to square Neptune, then we'll start talking global picture in terms of either virus, toxins, or gas supply, oil supply, something like that. Saturn, Neptune, Pisces, Saturn, Sagittarius, so water supply, pipelines, desert, something there, but that's a year away yet. At the moment, Saturn retrograding in the middle of Scorpio, over, incidentally, the Samhain point, the middle degrees 15, getting close to the middle 15 degree of Scorpio when it stops going back. So this is a time of soul searching, personally and globally, and of one last major dive into the belly of the beast and bring up those last little bits of poison. Then when it's all clean, You can move forward with absolute guarantee of safety and no fear. Catch you later.